Hey, do you know one of the best ways to nurture your prospects is with a Facebook group? That's right, a Facebook group. Now, I know a lot of you are probably thinking, Marlon, Facebook groups, social media, none of that stuff works. And can I say that a few years ago, I would believe the same, that social media just doesn't really work for B2B businesses. But the reality is it does. And personally, I don't spend a lot of time on social media in my personal life, but in my business life, I'm all over it. And the reason I am is because it works. And one of the best tools I've been able to use over the last few years is Facebook groups to sell more of my business services to business owners. And so, how does it work? Well, the way it works is this. A Facebook group is very different to a Facebook business page. A business page basically has people who like the page, and Facebook has made a decision to make you pay to play. And so if you want your people who like your page to see the content you create and post, you have to pretty much pay. Only about 5, maybe 10% of people who like your page will actually see that content. But in a Facebook group, it's totally different. You know, a few years ago, Facebook had a goal to see 1 billion people as part of a meaningful Facebook group. And I think they've blown those numbers out of the water. You see, what's happened in society is that people aren't playing sport anymore. They're not joining social clubs. They're not going to church. And, you know, COVID had a really bad effect on people socializing. So what did they do? They started to get on Facebook and join Facebook groups to create meaning. Now, Facebook saw this coming and they made a big push towards it, and it's paid off for them, because what it means is that people are spending more time on Facebook, not just scrolling and looking at their friends and envying the food and the life that they have, but they're actually joining groups where they're getting value. It might be around a topic or a sport or a business idea that they have. And so it's very meaningful for them. And so what Facebook's doing is Facebook is pushing the content that the group admins are posting to all of the people in the group, much more than it does on a business page. And so if you have a Facebook group and you post something, a lot more people in that group will see it than they would if they were someone who liked your page. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So the powerful thing is that groups create community as well, like a sporting group or a social group or a church. And so people in that group become quite loyal, and there's always a bunch of people that are quite vocal and spend a lot of time in the group. And so if you can create a group, think about this, of your perfect prospect, and it might only be 50 people, but they're your perfect prospect, or 100, or 1,000, or maybe 10,000. And if you can get a small group of people who could be your client, who are your perfect client, and you nurture those people, you post content into that group, you post videos like I'm doing right now. This video has been live streamed into 2 of my groups, and I am educating and helping the people in that group. And those people are seeing me as an authority. They're seeing me as someone that's around, that's kind of in their face and adding value to their life. And so when I post something, people comment and they like it. And I'm staying top of mind in those people's lives. And it's very, very easy for me to get in front of them. I would say at times much easier than sending an email, even though I think the database that you have and sending weekly emails is very important and probably the most powerful tool you have because you own it. Facebook groups, I think, is the second most powerful. You don't own it, but when you post something, a big chunk of those people actually see it. And if you think about the theory behind marketing, and that is fill your database with as many people as possible who could buy your product, and then keep in contact with them and educate them and nurture them and show them that you're the authority and you have the right stuff or the right information or the right service for them. When they're ready to buy, they'll choose you. But if you're not in front of them and you've put them in your database and ignore them, when they're ready to buy, they'll probably go to a competitor because they can't find you. And Facebook groups is one of the best ways to stay top of mind, to stay relevant, and to be somewhere where they can find you when they're ready to make a buying decision. So have I convinced you? Have I convinced you that Facebook groups are one of the top ways you can nurture your prospects in your business? Now, how do you get someone into a Facebook group? Well, I believe that the number one thing you should be doing when you're running ads is to fill your database with prospects who are your perfect prospects. And then the first email you send to them when they download an ebook or they sign up for a webinar should be an invitation to your group. And you shouldn't just do it once, you should do it multiple times. And so, every email that I send in my footer or the PS, it says, why don't you join my group? And so I'm constantly filling people into my group. Facebook's also promoting my group, and people I don't know are joining the group. And I use that group to do lots of nurturing. Now, let me give you a tip. When someone signs up for my group, I ask them 3 questions. Firstly, I ask them, are you a business owner or are you a web designer? Because I help web designers. And so now I know that they're my target audience. The second question is, hey, I have this program that helps you get this result in this amount of time. Would you like me to send you some information? I'm asking for permission. And if they say yes, that is an opportunity for me to message them on Facebook and start a conversation. If they say no, I let it go and they just join the group. And the third question is, hey, I have this free thing, a lead magnet, an ebook, a cheat sheet. Would you like it? Just put your email into the text box and I'll email it to you. Now I have their email address that I can put in my database if they've come from somewhere other than my list. Can you see how powerful those 3 questions are? Number 1 tells me, yes, they're my perfect prospect. Number 2 says, hey, would you like me to have a sales conversation with you about what I do? And number 3 is, hey, would you like me to give you this free thing so I can get your email address so I can stay in contact? Very, very powerful. And that's just one of the many tricks or techniques or tactics that I use in a Facebook group to nurture my prospects and get them on a call with me. So, have I convinced you? Have I convinced you to start a Facebook group for your business of like-minded prospects who could be your client? Now, if you want to learn how to do this stuff, then I've got lots of teaching and training on it. I help my clients do it. But if you want to just get a shortcut, I want to encourage you to book a call with me. It's a 15-minute strategy call, and I'll ask you a whole bunch of questions in that call to see where you are, where you need to be with your marketing, and then I can show you very quickly a path of how you potentially could get to where you want to be. Now, it might be Facebook groups, it might be something else I've spoken about that can help, but I'd love to help you out and see if there is a way that I can help you move rapidly to where you need to go in marketing. So click the button around this video, book a call. I look forward to speaking to you soon, and I'll see you on the next video.